Salutations, everybody. It is Matty here today. You're getting a double upload day. That's when you know stuff is really going down. And today, we have a Starfield leak so monumental, so gigantic, I can't handle it on my own. I have to have someone join me today.
And that's where I come in. Hello, and how's it going, everyone? It is Skullzi here. I'm super glad to be here, Matty. You're probably one of the best people I could find to talk about this, so thanks for having me on.
Ladies and gentlemen, you guys know if you've been around here for a while, my Bethesda coverage, I've been saying for well over a year now, go to Skullzi. Go to Skullzi, go to Skullzi, go to Skullzi. I've been saying it lots and lots and lots of times. His channel will be linked down below. Tons of Bethesda coverage there, tons of Bethesda scoops there. Highly, highly recommended for all of your speculative needs. Now, like I said, today, we're talking about Starfield because we're looking at potentially one of our first leaks for this game. Gameplay screenshots, art assets, it's all here. So we hope you guys are cozy. This is going to be a really interesting discussion. As always, take this with a grain of salt because until it's officially confirmed by Bethesda, we don't know. But we're going to provide reasoning why we think this is real. Okay, and not just because we're hyped, we are, but there are a lot of reasons why this can be legit. Now, first and foremost, this comes from Reddit. It was posted by user electricalad8659. It is, like Skullzi said, the typical Reddit MO of there being the only post that they have. So nothing else to go off of from them, but I'll have that linked in the description down below. Just a little bit more before we move on to the actual screenshots themselves is that there was nothing coming up in the reverse image search for any of these screenshots. So with that, let's get into it, starting off with this first one here, which is something very familiar we've seen in Bethesda games, Skullzi. Third person, camera's right below the buttocks. You know,
it's that angle.
Yeah, it's like what we've seen before. Let's pick this thing apart. Why do you think this is legit?
Well, that angle was probably the first thing that just struck out to me. That awkward buttocks, old school Fallout 4 angle for some reason. The character build, like the outline of the character, the vibe just screamed Bethesda Game Studios. Unlike other leaks like this, which usually would give you the vibe if you look at a lot of these, that, you know, this leak looks like Unreal Engine, that's not Bethesda, or this looks like some basic assets. This looked totally unique, and it looked pretty polished, even for the stage that this is at. Now this is a speculation salt moment. I did have someone reach out to me and give me some information that makes me personally feel that this is confirmed to be a true leak, and it comes from an early build from early 2018 is what they said. Take that with a grain of salt though, but if this is an early 2018 build, imagine what it looks like now in 2020.
Right.
Oh, the hype is assuming direct control. That much is totally happening.
Yeah, of course. So we're going to pick this bad boy apart. There's a lot to really see here to digest. So take it all in, ladies and gentlemen. We've got the player character front and center. We can see some of the HUD here, which has a health bar, a stamina bar. There's an ammo counter. Now, one thing that Skullzi picked up on is that the font that you're seeing in game for the health and stamina matches with that of which we've seen on the official Starfield website hosted by Bethesda. Now, I think this was point number one. This was the first thing I saw and went, okay, I'm hyped, because that is that finer detail there that you see in some leaks, but I felt that that is a leap beyond what you see in your everyday leak, right? Starfield's had a couple of fake leaks. We saw some indie game get ripped off into a fake Starfield trailer. We've seen some people like manipulate No Man's Sky. This is something unto its own. And once again, with those reverse image searches yielding zero things relating to it, nothing. Once again, really suggesting that this could be something legit. Furthermore, we see a jetpack on the character.
Oh, a jetpack!
Yeah. Hello? So, space exploration, we can start to speculate a little bit on what exactly that can be like. Between that, there is an O2 meter, which in one of these separate image leaks, we see enlarged there. So, you and I were talking a little bit about how maybe you could be going planet to planet, discovering life there. Not like No Man's Sky, because we do see the ammo counter. It seems like there is going to be combat in some way, shape, or form. But seeing that the jetpack's there, maybe there will be a little bit more verticality. Seeing the O2 meter, will there be more in-depth survival mechanics? What do you make of some of what we're seeing here already?
You know, that's a really great point, and that's actually something I thought of the second I saw not only the O2 meter, but the CO2 meter, and then what looked like the little dark and light side meter of the planet, which made me think of that episode of Futurama where they're running on the moon to get away from the dark side of the moon because it's super cold. If Bethesda goes so deep with oxygen and with like temperatures, that seems like the Bethesda game studios of old are coming back and making their game have a little bit more depth to it. And I would hope that the RPG mechanics would kind of carry that depth alongside it as well. I hope the survival mechanic isn't like Kerbal Space Program heavy with the realism, but we got to keep in mind Todd Howard did say that they would gamify things a bit here, so I'm sure it'll be a nice even blend. I'm just excited for some more depth. That's how I feel personally.
Absolutely, yeah. Depth is important. We saw Bethesda tinker a little bit with survival mechanics in Fallout 4 with the survival mode they added on after launch. We, of course, know that they tried to somewhat make 76 survival-oriented with balancing your food and hydration, but this would take it to another level, balancing your oxygen and maybe temperature playing a factor, the day and night cycle being a factor on each planet, and obviously you'd think that each planet would be different. I think that it's very plausible that the next BGS game does have a level of depth that we're not really familiar with since, say, Skyrim. The reason I say that is we've learned since Fallout 76 that was a game that was handled by the BGS Austin studio, right? And that's no disrespect to them, but they're not BGS Maryland, who brought us the likes of Fallout 3, Skyrim, Oblivion, Morrowind, the list goes on. Incredible developers there. That is the Bethesda S-tier team, as I like to call it. And you don't really see that going on here with BGS Austin. So I think it isn't too far-fetched to suggest that we will see some level of depth in Starfield. Will it blow our minds? Does this mean it's going to be the best role-playing game and choice and consequences everywhere? I don't think so, but it does. I do think it's plausible that we can see a little more survival depth. One other thing worth pointing out before we move on to our next image is that you do see in the Starfield teaser trailer a silhouette walking along the space station. Now, you can't make out who they are, what they're wearing, but some speculation has started to go around that we are going ahead and buying into is that this could be the same character there, right? Like, that was a very, very tiny detail placed by Bethesda. Now we're seeing this image here of someone in a spacesuit. It just matches up, right? Like, tonally and what we saw in the trailer, font-wise. Of course, the other thing that we would really hate ourselves for forgetting to point out is the patch.
Oh, yes.
The patch. We almost forgot. The patch.
Not the patch. No, that patch, totally.
Yeah, dude, go into it, man.
Like, immediately, some people in the community noticed that this patch has the same outline in some very obvious ways as, if you remember the E3 2018 teaser Starfield trailer. In the corner during, like, the beginning few frames, the word Constellation with a logo next to it. This logo on this guy's shoulder is almost identical in, like, symmetry, in design, to the logo in the trailer. And if I don't think that's any like, evidence that this thing is true, then it's evidence that this is the biggest, best fake leak in gaming history ever, right next to Survivor 2021 or whatever it was.
It's best left forgotten, Skullzi. It's best left forgotten, right?
Yes.
Kick that thing into the past. Yeah, the thing is that I wouldn't have made out the Constellation thing being a logo, right? Like, when I looked at that, I didn't think it was a logo. I thought Constellation was indicating space travel, as a little teaser of that. But now that you're seeing that patch on the right shoulder of the player character, and you're seeing it in the teaser trailer, you're like, that is the same thing. It just sticks out. It's like, what? Okay, this is... You'd almost imagine only someone familiar with the game could do something like that.
Oh, yeah.
So that carries us into our next image, our final image that we're going to be going over in this video. It's the last one available. It is of this spaceship here. It is insanely detailed. This is indeed like an art asset. This is not something that we're going to actually see in-game, so to say. But it does paint a picture, perhaps, of what we could, yet again, speculate on, what we can expect in Starfield. This spaceship here is this kind of like the Outer Worlds. You get into your spaceship, the Unreliable in the case of the Outer Worlds, and you go planet to planet, right? I could totally see a situation where BGS lets you get in your ship, you travel to all these different planets, you discover new life, you discover new quests. Like, entirely open, though. It's not like the Outer Worlds where it's hub worlds, and loading screens, but something truly open. What kind of gears got turning for you? What did you pick apart when you looked at this spaceship, Skullzi?
Three things. First, the Outer Worlds was something that actually popped in my mind. It kind of had the same vibe as the Unreliable. This isn't like a Mass Effect level, totally like clean and polished spaceship. This spaceship has seen some work. It looks like it has seen some stuff. Looks a little used up, and even the color. The second thing, the colors of the spaceship look similar to the colors from the space station or spaceship in the Starfield trailer. That might be a little speculation, salt stuff, but pretty similar color scheme. And third, the detail on the ship is so insane. There's so many details on the ship. People are breaking it down. They think they've seen thrusters. They think they've seen weapons, lasers. It's just, Bethesda is going deep with the detail here. And if they're doing it on this ship, I'd like to see what else they bring in terms of details to the rest of the game. I'm so hyped from all this. The hype is assuming direct control so much.
Yeah, dude. Like, because what I was thinking is, imagine if this is, because I was mentioning, like, you have a hub. Imagine the ship is your hub. That's kind of like the home base. Instead of, like, building a settlement, imagine your ship is what sort of expands over time. And then you go to these different planets that are, handcrafted content like we know from Bethesda Game Studios. Maybe the terrain is procedurally generated, like we've sort of seen since even Morrowind.
Yeah.
And built on top of that are these dungeons, these quests that we love from them. Like that, I feel like that's a perfect evolution, because they've been sort of obsessed with this whole crafting thing since Fallout 4. I think a lot of people have been vocal about, hey, we want more of our traditional BGS experience back. I think this is a way where they could sort of vent that crafting aspect into your ship, where it would make sense without taking away from the game world that you'd be exploring. So just like you, hype is assuming direct control. The fact that in the same week Bethesda gets purchased by Xbox, and we have all this hype, that we also have our first legitimate looking Starfield leak, which once again we will emphasize here nearing the end of the video. You do take with a grain of salt, but according to Skullzi and I, man, look, we think it's real, not only based on what we deduced, what we've heard. It looks like something that would be legit, right? It's got the creation engine stink all over it. Let's just say that.
Just keep in mind, this is an early build of Starfield, so don't think that this is exactly what it's going to look like, but I'm not saying it looks bad. It looks good even for early 2018, and like Maddie said, if you guys want to know about Bethesda Game Studios news, Starfield speculation, I'm always uploading stuff on there, youtube.com/Skullzi. Thank you, Maddie, for bringing me on, and I can't wait to see if this forces Bethesda's hand a little bit, maybe to start talking about things.
Yeah, right. Let's tag that on a little bit here, because we were talking before all of this recording business, and we were thinking, like, imagine this, right? Todd just said on his little interview how not only was the game being shown around a little bit, how people were seeing this game, and of course now we know that Starfield was being shopped for exclusivity, which means companies were seeing it. There was a chance for screenshots to be taken. This game is playable. We've known that for a while. But with Todd emphasizing again, he wants to wait as long as humanly possible to show off this game. Does this put on the table now with this leak? Maybe we see a little bit of Starfield at, say, the Game Awards, now that we know Xbox bought out Bethesda. We know Xbox close with the Game Awards. They revealed the Series X there last year. You reveal Starfield at the Game Awards. It releases maybe at the end of the first quarter in March as a next-gen title. I don't know, man. It's just my 2 cents on it.
That would be hype. It sounds like Oblivion is making a comeback, at least in terms of the release date scheme. Totally hyped.
Yeah, right. I feel like Bethesda one day will break out of their November scheme, right? They've always done November. I wonder if this will be the game, because it's not like Fallout or Elder Scrolls, so this is the chance to try something new.
Their first new IP, why not, right?
Man,
Great time for it.
Yeah. But anyway, it seems pretty safe to assume, even if this ends up being fake, Starfield will more than likely be a 2021 game, just given all the conversation that has occurred with Xbox, Phil Spencer, of course, Todd Howard. All of them almost needlessly brought up Starfield, and that seems to be like what's on the docket next. That seems to be the next big thing for Bethesda that they're going to be pushing. Otherwise, they wouldn't be mentioning it at all. So even if this ends up being nothing, just feel safe knowing that we will probably be seeing something Starfield related in the future, within the next, I'd say half a year. So rest easy knowing that. With that, though, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for us to wrap up this video. Now, Skullzi, any final thoughts?
No, I think that's basically it. I think that the hype is assuming direct control. This leak seems like the first credible thing. This week has been crazy, and I'm looking forward to what the future brings, Maddie. I'm super excited.
I can't wait either, man. So hopefully we'll be getting together sometime again for the next Starfield leak. We hope you guys enjoyed. Once again, do give Skullzi's channel a look. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for us to sign out. We hope you enjoyed this random double upload. I'll talk to you guys soon, all right? Stay sexy, stay active. I love you all. Peace.